What's up, Ranger Nation, Toku Nation, and every nation in between? It is me, your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Avataro Sentai's Donbrothers, episode number 35. All right, you guys. So, before we go ahead and get into this review, if you guys are watching this or any other video on the channel and aren't subscribed, do me a solid favor and subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and also share the video. And with that out of the way, Ranger Nation, Toku Nation, let's discuss episode 35 of Donbrothers. All right, you guys, so this episode, we see the team, so they're at Oni Sister's job, right? So, they're talking to Momotaro about his new powers that he has. And you hear Kiji brother in the background. So he has some iced tea or iced coffee, and he's just swirling around the ice. And Momotaro was like, yo, you in that ice, you gotta stop, right? Kiji brother, Kijino, he led into all of them. And I was like, well, damn, because you guys know how he is when it comes to his Miho. He is obsessed with Miho. Ooh, obsessed with Miho. So we see Inu brother, so Subasu, he is in jail. So we're starting to figure out why. We're starting to find out why the cops have been pursuing Subasu. So the reason why the cops have really been pursuing him so much is when he reported Natsumi missing. I guess they took that as a sign of him harming or hurting her. But if he hurt her, why would he come to the cops? Just a very interesting thing that if he hurt Natsumi, he came to the cops. But okay. So he tells them that Natsumi is actually alive, and Natsumi is at his apartment. They can go to his apartment and find Natsumi. So they're like, okay, we'll look into it. So let's pause here, and I want to move forward. So we see Kiji brother. So Kiji brother is walking through the streets, and he's talking about his, he's uttering Miho, Miho. So then he spots Miho, right? So he goes up to Miho, and she doesn't recognize him because her name is not Miho. She's not Sumi, Subasu's girlfriend, right? So fortunately for him, unfortunately for her, there was a cop there. So that cop ended up arresting Kijino, right? So we see them as they take him to the jail, and they throw him in the same cell that Subasu is in, right? So Subasu was like, so I'm sure you got your reward money. So, and Kiji brother was like, it's not even about the reward money. More so, it's about his precious Natsumi. And so, Subasu tells him her name is not, she's not Miho. Miho doesn't exist. So they get into a whole tussle going back and forth with each other, right? So then we see as the cops, they come in and they break it up. So when the cops broke that fight up between Kijino and Subasu, they took him back. Now, mind you, there was this lady cop in the interrogation room with him, and she likes him. She thinks he's hot. So they do tell Subasu that they did go, to the apartment. They did find Natsumi, and she's alive. But they also tell him that Natsumi is a bestial, right? And he was like, a bestial. So for him, it started to click in his head. It's starting to click in his head. I was about to say, but I didn't review that episode with the bestials, but I am. Well, you guys will see it before you see this one. So yeah. So what they want to make a deal with Subasu. The deal is that if Subasu watches Natsumi and understands the bestials, what they want and all this kind of stuff, they'll get rid of all these charges that are against them currently, right? So then we move over and we see Rumi, Jiru's friend. So she's come to visit Jiru, but when she came to visit him, Jiru, he looked like he looked like he had a fever, because homeboy was laying down. He was sweaty. I'm like, and that is a fever. You might want to go to the hospital and get that checked out. So let's pause here and let's move forward. All right, you guys. So after that, we see Taru. He was working, and then we see our Hitatsuki of the week, right? So Taru chased after the Hitatsuki, and then the rest of the team, they arrived to help him battle with Hitatsuki. Now the Hitatsuki has this one particular move that actually slowed them down. So Taru used his new form to, transform, and when he transformed, he actually turned into the Red Tokuger. I was like, oh, that's cool that he turned. That's cool. I like that because we haven't saw that aspect in quite a few episodes, some episodes where they could actually transform into another ranger from previous Sentai. We haven't saw that in. I don't remember the last time we saw that. I want to say the last time we saw something like that was with Jiru when he turned into the White Ranger. I could be wrong. You can correct me if I am wrong in the comments. So, Momotaro eventually did destroy the Hitatsuki on the ground. But it grew to giant size. So they went and battled with it giant size, right? So, next up, Inu brother, Subasu. So, at one point in this episode, he found Natsumi, and she was, she was like doing like a Shakespeare play. So this time he goes back. She is, sucking up one of those foot soldiers, right? And when she's doing that, that cop, he comes and he attacks her. So they battle with each other. She notices that Subasu was there, and so she left. You know what's so interesting? I'm gonna actually talk about this in just a minute. So the cop, he started sucking up the foot soldier, right? So when he did that, Subasu transformed into Inu brother, and he also threw himself into the mouth of the bestial, right? So when he comes to, we see that the bestials, they're in this, it's like a forest, right? And you see that the bestials are, still absorbing these damn, they're still sucking up the foot soldiers. So Inu brother, he turned around, and you can see in the trees, you can see the humans that the bestials have taken over. So it's very interesting and I'm thinking now, because we're on episode 35, so we're almost done with the season of Donbrothers, which I really have enjoyed this season, and I'm not ready to see it go, but it was really interesting because you can see them in the tree. So you saw Natsumi in the tree, and you saw the cop. So then it's like some vines that wrapped around them. So the vines wrapped around Subasu and lifted him up. And so one of the bestials came over to him and put the origami in his mouth, and it made him chew it and swallow it, right? So when it did that, the bestial starts copying his DNA, copying him, and when it did that, the bestial transformed himself into Subasu. And I haven't reviewed that episode, but there was an episode, well, when you guys see this, I will have already talked about it, but there was an episode where we talked about the bestials, that if the bestials were destroyed, their human counterparts would be destroyed as well. Interesting, right? But I wonder if maybe if someone can get into this particular realm where the bestials are and free the humans, could that happen? I'm pretty positive that something is going to happen later in this season, or it might happen in episode 36. We shall see. But that is the end of this review. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Leave your comments in the comments section below. Subscribe to the channel. Turn your post notifications. Share the video, you guys. And until the next time, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Please wash your hands. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll see you guys later on this weekend for episode number 17 of Dino Fury. And I still have to do my video about the news that we found out about the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers, as well as you know, the not Dino Fury, but the Cosmic Fury stuff. So I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys might see that Cosmic Fury MMPR 30th anniversary talk tomorrow.